Welcome back to my dark corner of this sick world.
Oh no!
1967's The Vulture opens with a woman taking a shortcut through a graveyard and getting a scare from the oscillating tombstone of Francis Real. But worse is to come. What was that?
An enormous black bird, like a vulture, with a dreadful human head.
This ties with the history of Francis Real, buried alive 200 years ago alongside his pet vulture.
The whole story is quite plausible then.
The Stroud family, who did the burying, still live in the area, including Trudy, who suggests they consult her husband.
What did your husband do, Mrs. Lutens?
He's a nuclear scientist in the service of the American government.
Not quite sure how that's relevant, but Dr. Lutens is played by Dark Corner's regular Robert Hutton, and his interest is piqued by the discovery of a dead sheep at the top of a cliff.
I don't like the look of this, Trudy. Not one bit.
He delves into the history of Francis Real.
Because he could have been at one time or other on Easter Island.
So?
Their god was Manutara, half man, half bird.
That seems like a leap from dead sheep, but he finds more evidence at the grave. A feather! Well, I've seen enough. That woman's right.
An enormous black bird, like a vulture, with an awful human head.
She says that a lot.
Big black bird, like a vulture, with a human face.
Leading Lutens to further conclusions.
What you saw can be only one of two things. Imagination or the result of a scientific experiment.
Normally, I'd say imagination, but... another feather, this one in a tree.
Oh, some kind of a bird or other.
Some kind, yeah.
That's a very simplistic way of looking at it.
And a bird not unfamiliar with a churchyard. Can you answer that?
Because large black birds are completely unknown in churchyards.
You know, this is all beginning to add up.
To what?
The legendary god of Easter Island. Half man, half bird.
Genuinely, two feathers in a dead sheep, and that's his take. But what makes this character is his angry dismissal of anyone with the temerity not to believe his theory that a half-man, half-vulture is targeting his wife's family.
Your Uncle Brian is either stupid or stubborn.
Of course they should believe him, and for one reason.
I can assure you I know what I'm talking about. I'm on the experimental staff of the Atomic Energy Commission.
Barely a day goes by at the commission without someone turning into a bird.
But what has that got to do with the incident here?
This is one of many B-movies in which the word scientist is used as a generic term for expert in everything. But I don't think we've previously encountered one with this level of arrogance.
You got an answer to that too, I suppose, although I doubt very much if it's right.
Back to the plot.
In the back of my mind is a growing suspicion that someone carried out a scientific experiment.
To resurrect a 200-year-old vulture man.
Very much so.
How?
By means of nuclear transmutation, if you've any idea what that means.
You probably don't. You're not a scientist. But not all the evidence is on his side. A coin found in a nearby field suggests a simple grave robbery.
Though it's my guess we won't find anything.
Your 18th century gold coin could have come from anywhere. Not like my feather. That was hard evidence.
What does it mean?
But I was right about the experiment, Trudy. There's no longer any doubt.
About what?
Some unknown scientific brain has produced a monstrous creature.
Smoothly backpedaling on his Easter Island god theory. But how was this done?
The changing of atoms of one element into those of another by suitable nuclear reactions.
Not buying it. Let's check with an actual scientist. Dad, is it possible to change atoms of one element into those of another?
Yes, by some suitable nuclear reaction, that is possible.
Well, that's left me looking foolish. But weirdly, the film drops that idea literally seconds later.
A living person has been transferred through the ether and reassembled in the grave of Francis Real.
Nothing to do with transforming elements. What we're talking about here is the fly. An as yet unknown scientist tries to switch places with the corpse of Francis Real for reasons that, I may as well break the news to you now, the film never explains. But
Whoever made this experiment failed to take into account the vulture that was buried along with Real.
so in the transfer, he becomes half vulture and also absorbs Real's hatred of the Stroud family.
From the grave has come this creature with a threat to wipe out every member of your family.
And that quest for vengeance now strikes. Oh boy. Little is left of Trudy's uncle.
Is it him?
Must be.
As a scientist, I'm able to identify arms at a great distance. Lutens talks to the police.
The dead body of a man is found torn to pieces in a cliff, and that's your only answer, huh?
My story may be nonsense, but I'd like to see you do better. Besides, I'm a scientist.
This has nothing to do with science at all. It's strictly a matter of theft.
That is a good point. If this was supernatural, you'd go with it. It's this perplexing insistence that it's all science,
The only answer to this is a scientific one, and I've already given that to you.
combined with Luton's gut-wrenching insistence that people should believe him, not because he has evidence, his evidence is,
This.
but because he's a scientist, and other scientists have been right about other things, so he must be right about this.
You know, science has advanced in recent years.
But not to the extent you're asking people to believe.
We now acknowledge the existence of man-headed vultures. And if you don't believe him, you're anti-science.
The frightening part is your refusal to listen to me.
Probably one of those religious nuts.
I've every respect for science, Trudy. But there is such a thing as taking it too far.
I know this isn't in the spirit of a film review, but seeing someone consistently misrepresenting science and being smug about it is making me a little angry.
Now, that's the understatement of all times.
Anyway, Trudy is next to be taken, leaving only one clue. Well, this clearly indicates the existence of some half-man, half-handkerchief. Is there any way of showing the creature without it being laughable? No. With the half-man, half-vulture dead, they head for home.
I don't think I could ever go back to Tolfero.
Of course you can. A year from now, and you'll have forgotten the whole thing.
My scientific expertise tells me that this is the sort of trauma people get over very quickly.
For once, you people are right.
If you're a subscriber, then you have often heard me rant about how much I hate heroes, but come on, you gotta give me this guy.
The whole thing was a disaster.
Thanks for watching. I feel like I have shortchanged this film. It's so much worse than I can ever satisfactorily put across. So please join us on Patreon to hear additional ranting about this and every film we review. What films make you angry? Not necessarily because they're bad, but for whatever reason. Let us know in the comments below.
Good night, good night, good night.